I spent a little while trying to get a drum loop together that sounds in the style of drum and bass. Basically, once I decided, like, once I've made the kick and snare parts of my track, that I needed to use them to try and build a drum loop. Obviously, I want to build the drums as they're the main part of the track in drum and bass. Or they're the part that carries the track and is probably the most rhythmically obvious element that ties everything together. So here we have the kick on the one, a snare on the two, the next kick in between the 3 and the 4, and then obviously the second snare on the 4. We have some like 8-note hi-hats running underneath. They did sound a bit static, so I cut the audio up and put some fades in places, mainly underneath the snare drum, because obviously a drummer can't hit the snare drum with the same sort of level of velocity that he can hit it like that. Sorry, he can't hit the hat with the same sort of velocity when he's playing the snare, or the snare, the hat doesn't sound as loud against the snare with a real drummer. So it's something that we have to try and think about with making the drums here. So I've only made like 2 bars of drums that here, as I could, now I've got that 2-bar loop, I can cut that once I've printed it to audio as a larger loop, and use this 2-bar section. So here I've got some extra elements coming in, and then we've got like a slight change in groove here at the end, and that's so I basically have a few different rhythmic elements in terms of the drums to play with, and I can cut and chop this, and pretty much however I use the audio afterwards, it should still sound somewhat like drum and bass, as long as I'm think about placement. But the hats and everything will follow the snares and the kicks nicely after I chop this information up. So here we have, like I say, something to speed it up. So some tambourines, and these tambourines are on 16s, and obviously that feels like it speeds the groove up and brings the track like forward, like in terms of picking up momentum. And underneath the tambourines we got some shuffle, so we got these tambourines. Sounds a bit robotic on its own. Again, it works. I mean, without this on, so obviously it's got the hats and the kicks and snares and everything playing over it, but it's really nice with some shuffle, and it's something that I've really struggled with in regards to making drum and bass, is getting this shuffle part of the drums right. So the shuffle comes in between the first snare and the second snare. So if the first snare is on the 2, the shuffle starts not on the 3, but a 16th before, or 2/16 before, sorry, an 8th note before, the start of my musical explanation's not very good there. Starts on the 8th note prior. Oh my goodness me. So yeah, there's a bar. Quarter note. So it's halfway through the bar, starts to an 8th note or 2/16 before. Yeah, I was right. The middle of the bar. And so you can just have this. Oh, it sounds alright. But again, it sounds a bit robotic. So to break it up, make it sound a little bit more natural, I'll put this like snare, ghost snare, in between the 16s, and you hear ghost snares a lot in drum and bass. They are basically the same as the normal snare, but with some serious EQing. Take out a lot of the low end and a little bit of a notch in the middle. I've also taken down the velocity a bit on the sampler. Yeah, it just makes it sound not as strong. You know, it's like again the same as the hats. If a drummer's tapping the snare drum really quickly in a skippy fashion like that, it's not going to be as loud and boomy as the original snare. And yeah, so having those two snare hits, starting a 16th note prior to the middle of the bar, lasting for an 8th note, you know, the same sort of length as the your standard snare would last for in drum and bass, as they're quite short. And then yeah, that in between those 16s really gives it a cool shuffly feel, as we will demonstrate. And then obviously that gives me some play for the songs. You know, I've got your straight drums here, nice and straight. And then, you know, some percussion-y, faster paced bits, but obviously we want to think about breaks and fills. You can, you know, take other people's samples and chop them up, as obviously the breaks and fills in drum and bass aren't as long, and it's no huge deal, but it's nice to have like a fill made from the drums that you use in the actual track. So here I've just changed the you know, the drum groove around a bit. The tambourines and the hats are still in the exact same place. I've just moved the kicks and snares, and then I've lined up the shuffle in between these snares here. So a lot of the time at the end of the bars, you'll have this stereotypical 2 and 4 drum pattern throughout the tune, and then we'll have like a variation or a theme on that. So here in 2 bars, we've still got the 4 snares. It's still you know, it's the same amount of you know, drum hits of the main kick and snare here, but we've just 2 kicks and then 4 snares rather than kick snare, kick snare, kick snare, kick snare. So yeah, like after we have laid all these parts out musically, I was obviously careful to make the sounds initially, or choose the sounds to sound pretty cool, and they're all quite loud. They're from like nice sample packs, so there doesn't really well, I mean, these parts are from sample packs, obviously, the acoustic, you know, tambourines and the hats and stuff. I am going to have a go at making some hats, which I will document.